Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast made for those people who make their characters kink first.
Oh, hey, don't call me out like that right off the rip. That's just
Wait,
rude.
that's actually.
Whoa.
There you go.
Ow. I've never tried doing that, but now I wonder.
You absolutely should. You end
You
up
should.
with dumpster fires. You end up with absolute dumpster fire of characters. But you should. You should absolutely try it. It's phenomenal.
I love characters. I love making characters, or I have had the experience, and I have loved the experience of making a character that I do not fully understand to begin with. And it is only after like weeks about thinking about this character that like shit starts to make sense.
We kind of touched on that last week where we were saying that we like a lot of times when we build a character, it isn't until 3, 4, 5 sessions in when we start to see how that character's reacting to the world, and you know how like all these impulses that are happening and how they're affecting that. That's when you can kind of go, oh, so this is who this person is. And
Yeah.
And a lot of times,
did you talk about backstories last week?
Not massively. We didn't really get into backstories
let me
too
just
much.
add that. Let me add that to the list.
Although backstories is my bread and butter. I love coming up with a wild as fuck backstory.
So see, we got to talk about that because I am very light on backstory. I am find out what the backstory is as we're playing.
I'm a bit like that. I'm like that.
I get that. I tend to come up with like some crazy fucking backstories for my characters. We talked about it a little last week. I tend to make characters that like to strike fear in the heart of civilization because I can't say the actual word on the internet.
That's a really good way of putting it. I just want to quick shout out to the chat. We've got Corey in the chat. Awesome to see you, Corey. He's not staying long today, but he just wanted to say hello and that we're all awesome. So we will take that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But yeah, so how have you guys been? How's your gaming week been?
Wild.
Go first.
Oh no. Let's just say vampires and cake don't get along.
The cake the band or cake the food?
Cake the food.
Okay.
So in vampire, unless you have a specific merit that allows you to eat food, you end up projectile blood vomiting when you eat food. And my character is a very bad babysitter. Very terrible babysitter. Don't ever let her babysit. B, she horrified the crap out of some humans and then had to call a friend to have their minds erased from eating cake and then deciding to blood vomit through a photo shoot. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not the greatest moment, but it was fun. It was so fun to just go balls to the wall and be like, all right, how far can I push the scene out of like reality? Sometimes I do that as a player. It's not necessarily the best habit, I will say that, but it was fucking fun. And now we fear cake.
I mean, cake is something to be feared. Complex carbohydrates and all that. It's just, I don't know. It was a joke that fell flat, so we're just gonna kind of move.
Unlike complex carbohydrates.
Yeah, let's move swiftly on. I don't see Zoop writing down complex carbohydrates, so it's just time to move on.
Listen, that was school. I wrote down so many complex carbohydrates in school in organic chemistry class that I am not interested right now. But in terms of games, so I wasn't here last week. So last week, I did get to play the second part of a 2-parter of my first time playing the Cypher system.
Oh, that's exciting.
So specifically, dry cleaning. Someone said dry cleaning there, so I just started reading that. Dry cleaning, Bill. No.
I'd completely forgotten I had that power on this thing. I'm now going to take full advantage of it.
Oh my god, it's going to make things so confusing. But it's called tidal waves. So it's specifically a lot of like fish folks and an island Sea World, and I got to play, what was it, a Betelod, which is like a kind of like a small axolotl with like psychic powers, and a whole lot of intelligence, and it was a crab mystic and driven, and it was, I mean, it was cute. It ended up being super cute. The group came together for one adventure, and then 3 of them at the very end of it, 2 of us started jumping through time because one of us was a time traveler. And my character was like, oh my god, that's so cool, and like learning so much. And then it was Glyza playing the other character and was like, I'm about to blip through time, want to come? And so they began doing their own like little Doctor Who thing where, and the other 3 went on a like benevolent pirate adventure. And it'd be so cute to see either of those things play out further. And then this week I ran a game of Nighthawks, which is coming out on Game Master Monday, I believe next Monday. And it's really cool. It's Halloween themed. Nighthawks is a very cool game. It's a game about loneliness. I don't know if you've ever seen the painting called Nighthawks. It's the one where it's like
right now,
dark outside, and you see into a diner, and there's like 3 people sitting at the diner, very lonely looking, and it's
oh yes, I do know this.
Yeah. So Nighthawks is a game about loneliness, and you're in whatever you're going to consider a diner, whether it's a diner or a sinking ship or like an exploding ship or like, you know, whatever. But it's in a space, and things are run in nights, which nights can be consecutive nights or one night every year or 10,000 years. It doesn't matter. But you have a bunch of lonely people who try to reach out to each other in various ways. And then the game, you know, it's a GM-less game, but it can be played with a facilitator, and you can choose. There are 2 end conditions you can choose, or you can just end it when you feel like the story's been told. And it's really cool. I want to play this game so many more times in so many different ways. We played it pretty realistic, a little magical realism, but we played it pretty realistic, but I think it would be fun to play it in so many different ways. So that's definitely on my list of games to play.
I played something similar a couple years ago on Goodberry Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Which was, I think it was Diner at the End, where all your characters are essentially, this diner is a wayward point. So like before your soul passes, you end up just collectively meeting at this diner, and then you have your interactions, and it is a GM-less game, but they use cards to help you, like a deck of cards to help you tell the story, and like different cards have different meanings, and it was a lot of fun. And then the end is sort of your character just passing on to wherever they're supposed to go.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of Goodberry Cafe, the person
Goodberry.
who started Goodberry Cafe, Jem, ran into some trouble where a certain, you can research this, but a certain the con runners have basically conned a bunch of people out of a lot of money. And
holy shit.
Jem is one of those people, and Jem is raising funds to
for
to
legal
get a
purposes.
lawyer to go try to get the money back from them that is owed to Jem, and then hopefully pave the way for other people to also do the same. We're talking about writers, we're talking about cosplayers, we're talking about
con staff. Yeah,
so
like
many
nobody
people
got paid. It was really bad.
It was really bad. So
was it like a major convention or?
No, it was
major.
the first year. It was the first year of this con, and these 2 people who did it, they insisted that they have all of this con experience. So they really sold it like, we have all of this con experience. We're going to make this great con, and got a lot of people excited about it.
From my understanding, that they didn't have volunteers. Everyone was supposed to get some sort of money or compensation in some way.
I think
or did they have
volunteers?
volunteers?
No, so they were volunteers, but even in any con, like, volunteers are either given like free tickets or but like a lot of these people were coming out of state and then they get comped rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them were supposed to be comped rooms at this very expensive hotel, and they got there and the rooms weren't already booked, so a lot of them paid for the rooms out of their own pocket and thinking that they were going to get reimbursed, and then they weren't reimbursed.
Fuck that. Yeah. So anyway, let's help Jem.
Yes. So anyway, so Goodberry has gone from being a show on a different network to now being its own channel. And so you can check out Goodberry. You can check out Gem Imaginative. Gem Imaginative?
Yeah, it's Gem Imaginative.
On socials, she's posting links to join if you want to play in a game to raise money, and then it'll also have the information of what games are being played. It's all next week, what games are being played that you can watch and donate money as incentives to various things to affect the game.
I'm trying to find.
I was originally gonna like
sit down at the bottom,
run a game for it.
Yeah.
And then I checked my calendar and I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time to prep. I don't have time to make it, like, do any of that. Nor do I have time to like quell my anxiety of playing, like, running a game on stream for other people.
Have you ever run a game on stream for other people?
No. Hell no.
Really?
Hell fucking no. I've done it privately in my own Discord for my own friends and whatnot, but I've never, ever done it on a stream before, and it terrifies me.
I've not done it on a stream. I've done it pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I've recorded games. I've never done a streamed one, but I don't know. Last week we were discussing maybe changing that, weren't we, there, Misfit?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, we could definitely do something.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to look into something. I think Starfinder was mentioned, but I don't really use Paizo products anymore. But I was thinking maybe I could do a Starfinder, maybe a Savage Worlds Starfinder adventure. If people were interested. Wasn't there a
controversy with Savage Worlds? Am I wrong?
Not that I'm aware of. There may be, but I'm quite new to it, so I
would have to look it up.
Yeah. I mean, I recommend starting if you are nervous about GMing on camera. I suggest starting with like a smaller, simpler game, like very much one shot, one page.
Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
Which I have lots of experience running Monster of the Week. That's actually what I used to run for my Discord all the time. So it's not so much, it's just, that's so many people watching me.
Well, you know, so you ignore the fact that there are people watching, and you just like say, I mean, there are people watching you right now, right? So you just
different.
like
I'm
think
just yapping. If I look like an a-hole, that's fine.
I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, I ignore that there are people watching, and pre-recording is definitely easier because Grant can tell you he cut out over like 10 minutes of our intro because the intro was like me being unable to say words and then passing that problem on to everybody else.
I have that problem. That is my problem. If I get too stressed out, my brain's like, you don't know how to talk anymore. Congratulations.
I'm so glad I've got you two on this podcast. It's brilliant. You know, just two people who struggle to speak is going to be grand. It's going to be fantastic.
Hey, you signed up for this. You asked me.
We did.
I did. I approached you both, so whatever happens is going to be on me anyway.
I mean, I think we've proven that we do a pretty good job.
You do a fantastic job. You do a fantastic job. And speaking of the fantastic job you do, and in particular, Zoop, you made notes of things that you would like to talk about. And
yes.
I think we've got something that we would like to talk about. And
Oh no.
Yeah, what do you want to tell us what that is?
We're going to talk about murder and murder
Murder.
most foul. So this is kind of a mix of two different questions, like two different things that I had. So first of all, D&D. We know it as many different games. We know it as, or like Dungeons and Dragons. We know it as D&D. We know it as that one game. We know
The
it
dragon
as
game.
the Dragon game. We know it as, you know, those Hasbro folks. And we also know it, many of us, as the murder game. It is one of the TTRPGs that heavily features murder as a mechanic. And I've, you know, since first playing D&D, I have learned that there's so many games out there that do not feature murder as a mechanic. But D absolutely does. So, you know, how do we feel about the fact that D&D is the murder game and games that are murder centric? Talking a little bit about that, and then also when we've played in games that are murder centric or have murder as one of the features of it, how do your characters respond to it?
Okay, so I have more experience playing murdery, like murder hobo type characters and not D&D than in D&D. So there is a game
Ooh.
called Eat the Reich that is literally Nazi.
We like that game.
You are a vampire being dropped into Nazi Germany, and your whole job is to kill as many Nazis as possible. That's your whole goal in the game. And let me tell you, tearing through hordes of Nazis is real fun.
Absolutely.
I let my rage for the world and the state when I play the types of characters. I just let my rage flow freely. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna rip his head off. I'm gonna eviscerate him. Oh, there's some guts going everywhere. It's fine. It's whatever. I get a little savage with it.
So it's interesting because Eat the Reich, I think, would be a game that is a murder game, but it also bills itself as a murder game.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
it goes
presents
insane.
as a murder game.
The thing about D&D is that they don't go around and say, this is the murder game. It's just most of their resolution techniques, like
Is
fight
violence.
resolution, is death.
I think it is something that happens in a lot of games. And as much as I'm a big fan of bagging on D&D, because I am, I think that because of the influence that it has had on the TTRPG scene as a whole, I think that is replicated from D&D, and it's replicated in many other games. Pathfinder is the one I'm most familiar with, but there's also, you know, nearly every sort of game that I've played that has its foundation in D&D does have that mechanic, or should I say the lack of focus on murder. It becomes an abstract. You have hit points, and once those hit points get depleted, you are at zero. And
yes, that is
very
another
much
good point.
a video gamey kind of way, you use the term, we killed that person or we killed that character, and it does become a sense of, it becomes a matter of desensitivity.
Yeah. And you know, that first of all, I think goes back to, I'm not an expert on the history of TTRPGs, would love to talk to someone who is, but I think that does abstract a little bit into D&D first coming out of war games being the original, like, right, like the original thing, like Warhammer and all of those is like the idea of like your terrain and you have units going after each other. And I think, you know, even in like video games there are different, so like Legend of Zelda, right? You're mostly fighting monsters.
Yeah.
Of some sort that you assume are not humanoid, are not.
Okay, here's a question. Before we delve real deep down into this hole, what does one classify as a sentient being? Because for me, a
So
sentient
important.
being is something that can think and do for itself. So like
Right,
animals
yeah.
are sentient beings.
So okay, so I guess what I'm saying is more humanoid, is more the ability to make civilization, maybe.
Okay.
So like
The
a
ability
blob,
to
a
organize.
slime blob, I consider differently. I mean, Legend of Zelda has like moblins and stuff like that do have civilization, and so that's a little bit of a, you know. But like I'm thinking like Assassin's Creed. I'm pretty sure in Assassin's Creed you're always killing other people.
Oh yeah,
And
there are other humans that you are killing.
Yeah, and it
so
is,
when you go ahead.
the killing just becomes a side effect of the goal.
Right,
Especially
right.
particularly in Assassin's Creed. Yes, there are specific moments where it's like, okay, you have to kill this person, but a lot of the times the games are, okay, this is the objective you have to reach. You have to enter this place. You have to steal this thing. You have to follow this person. But as a side effect of all that going on, to get rid of guards, the easiest way is,
You
and they're
kill
done.
them.
So it becomes again a sense of like a desensitizing sort of thing about it, and I think that does carry over into TTRPGs, because
Yeah.
we can have a look at like the differences between killing and murder, but I imagine for this particular argument they're one and the same.
Absolutely.
You get attacked by a bunch of bandits, which happens in countless games.
So many.
Unless, especially like in Pathfinder, unless you are specifically stating to the GM that that's what you want to do, it is presumed that every attack you do is going to be lethal.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I do know in Pathfinder and in Starfinder, you have to declare that you are using a
Non-lethality.
non-lethal attack.
And you take a penalty for doing so.
Yes, you do. Because they are like, oh, but it's easier to kill them. You just shut them up forever. And you're like, but
Right.
I'm playing a good character. My character wouldn't do that, but I do need them kind of like out of my way. I don't want to
And
murder them.
Exactly. And so what I want to do is differentiate, like in Eat the Reich, there is the understanding that you are already a killing machine. You are a vampire. And I don't think that there is really such a thing as like a vampire archetype that is not a killing machine. I mean, like, sure, you have vegan vampires every once in a while that like only suck on rats or whatever, but that is a
blood bags.
Yeah, I mean, or like, you know, a vampire that runs a donation center and is like very clear, you are donating your blood for me to drink. I don't know.
Have you heard? It's fine.
Can we please get Zoop in a VTM game? Because I think it has to happen.
But I think, have you ever played in a game where you've played a character where murder is an option as a resolution technique, but you are playing a character that is not already inured? I don't know if that's the right word. To murder. Like, isn't already desensitized to murder.
I actually love bringing that concept into my VTM characters. Where they're like, VTM is all about being a monster. Like, literally, you're a fucking monster. You're supposed to be a monster. You're supposed to do monstrous things. I, in fact, love to play to my humanity in VTM and actively try to find solutions where I don't have to use any of my vampiric powers. I don't have to just straight murder somebody. And let me tell you, it's fucking hard.
Right.
It's so hard because there are so many situations where I could be like, or I could just drink them dry and not have to worry about it.
I mean,
like, that's not great.
I think I've played those sort of characters, or I've experienced, because I GM most of the time, I've experienced more those sort of characters in games which have killing as a tangible mechanic. So, for example, Delta Green, if you murder somebody, you have to roll a SAN roll.
Yep.
And it affects your sanity. So I've had more players in those games just kind of going, my character is not comfortable with this. Whereas if we kind of go to your Pathfinders and your D&Ds, you know, wet behind the ear, level 1 character, you all of a sudden get in the fight with bandits, and yeah, you're stabbing them in the face. And it does become a sense of ludonarrative dissonance, where the mechanics of the game don't reflect the narrative.
Okay, what is ludonarrative?
Ludonarrative dissonance is something that was coined a few years ago, and it is basically a description of when a game's mechanics contradict the narrative. The prime example that everybody uses is GTA 4, where you're playing this criminal who is a reluctant criminal who is, oh yes, I want to, you know, go straight and I don't want to do this. But then once it gets in the hands of the players, you're mowing down prostitutes. And
Interesting.
and we do see ludonarrative dissonance a lot in TTRPGs. And for example, you get a level 1 character who's just come out of rogue school or whatever he's come out of, never before been in combat, never before seen anything depending on the backstory, and yeah, first combat, kills somebody. And then they loot their body and move on.
Right. So I ran a D&D game for a bunch of newbies or fairly newbies. And when they finally killed their first, because I think they fought like cockatrices and like a hawk and some other like, you know, more creature based things. And when they finally got hit by bandits, they did end up killing 2 of the bandits and then chasing the rest of them off. And I was like, which of your characters have killed before? And they're like,
It's a hard question to
and
ask.
I'm like, how do your characters feel about the fact that one of you has just murdered somebody?
So what we're talking about here is capital R role playing, where you have to really step into the shoe of your character.
Yes.
What experiences has your character lived to bring them to that moment? Why is murder or killing their first thought?
Right.
Do you think it's got anything to do with the tropes that a lot of these games lean on? For
Probably.
example,
I
we
would
all
say.
You know, the traditional fantasy games very heavily lean on Tolkien, who heavily leans on medieval sort of literature as well. We hear and see these stories about these knights that have squabbles with other knights and they kill them. And it's okay. We had a disagreement, we had a duel, and he died. And then,
do you think murder was that much more? Like in medieval times, do you think murder was that much more, like people were that much more laissez-faire? I guess people just would die randomly.
I mean,
unfortunately, because I'm not very good at history, I wouldn't have a clue. But I do know, I do know in popular culture it is prevalent.
Yeah.
You're not entirely far off. One of the best examples of what y'all are talking about is the Wild West, where there were very little rules and even less people to enforce those rules. So like if you had a disagreement, it was very commonplace to just pull out your revolver and shoot the dude because, you know, they tried to cheat on cards or whatever, and they just walk off like ain't shit. And, you know, you go get lost in the desert and like, good luck finding you.
Yeah, I was thinking of like westerns as well. You do see that element of it. Even sci-fi. Even, you know, you look at Star Wars. We're introduced to one of the primordial characters of that entire franchise, and in his first scene he kills somebody. You know, and it's not really dwelled upon. It's like, okay, who shot first is a big... who shot first is more of a discussion of should he have shot him?
But that's Han. That's his character. That's who he is. He's a scoundrel. He's a smuggler. He's a bad dude. And like when you say, okay, he's not really a bad dude, but like he's a morally gray character. So when you're introduced to him and you're introduced to the fact that he's sitting in a seedy bar talking to another bounty hunter. Like, yeah, okay, it is totally believable that he shot first. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. But they set it up really well. So you didn't need any of the context of like his backstory to see that this is just commonplace for him.
This is just commonplace.
Rather normal behavior. Where, as you see Luke's reaction to it, he's like, oh God, why did you do that? And like, even though they can't, Luke comes from the same planet. He wasn't raised in that
Right.
sort of environment. He wasn't molded by it.
So I guess I'm like here to ask anybody who is listening to us who plays in a game where murder is a possibility, definitely interrogate that about your character before you start. Is death a commonplace thing for them, or do they come from an area where life is considered
Sacred?
There's like where there's sanctity to life. Or are they coming from, and these two things can happen in the same place. Like, you can be coming from an abbey where every earthworm is treasured, or you could be like from like the seedy part of town, just like a little ways away, where like people die all the time, and you just kind of like accept that that's the fact of the matter.
In my Pathfinder game, I ran a homebrew game, and it was running during the switch from Pathfinder 2 to remaster. And one of the big changes in that shift was the getting rid of alignment. So I wanted to start playing by the remastered rules. And obviously you've got a party where there's a cleric and there's a paladin and all that. So the alignment was quite ingrained into the campaign. So I figured, what is a way I can kind of narratively do away with that concept? So I came up with a town, right? And this town was being held protected in a way by an even greater threat than the one that was barreling down on Earth, on Golarion at the time. And someone along the way had convinced these town members that the reason that this town was protected was because their god of choice was requested them to make a yearly sacrifice. So what the townspeople did, instead of using one of their own as a sacrifice, they would go out into the world, they would find somebody slightly down on their luck, bring them to town and treat them like royalty for a year. And after that year had come, sacrifice them. So the party caught wind of this. The party, it was a whole thing. They investigated. It was a mystery to be resolved, and they resolved the mystery. And they became friends with the sacrificial lamb of the moment. And it all ended up where the paladin, I think, is the one who initiated it. They attacked the town, and the town attacked back. And because it was an entire town, I did it so that they were rather weak. So they ended up slaughtering the entire town. Like, without quarter, the entire town got slaughtered. And at the end of it, the person that was going to be sacrificed was the one going to them, why? Why did you do this? Yes, I appreciate you've saved me. But was that the answer? Was that the answer? Was it that, was there no other way? Could you have not incapacitated them? Could you have not tried, reasoning with them? Could we not have just escaped? But no, you instead chose to murder the entire town.
That's pretty savage.
And I use that as a way to kind of let the players know that the sort of arbitrary, neutral, good and all that crap was pointless. There was always morals. There was always a grayer scale. But I thought it was good. It was harrowing for them. And I enjoyed it massively.
Yeah.
I like one of the comments, when morals are a part of the game, it should actively have a consequence on the character's story. And I fucking love that. because I
Are
have
there
had
any games? Are there any games that you've seen that as an aspect?
I have personally, so one of my favorite characters of all time was forced to make a decision. And it was a pretty harsh decision. She literally decided to kill an entire room of people by irradiating them. Like, it was savage. It was fucking savage. And she had never done anything like this before. But like, her whole backstory was she came from a race of lab mice. So her whole family was experimented on. So when she found a group of humans, of humanoid beings that were being experimented on, and she just decided, she was like, fuck no, this goes against everything that I like, and I killed all of them. There was like 50, 60 people in this room. She fucking killed all of them in one decision. And my GM was like, hard stop. Whoa. And this was back when we had character alignment still, and my character was technically chaotic good, and my GM was like, you can no longer say that you're chaotic good at all. No, hard pass. And then like, I really did started playing her as like this very morally gray character. So when later on, when we ran into the Zon-Kuthon clan, and she was they practice ritual scarification and whatnot, she was like, yeah, I'll fucking do it, whatever, I don't care, and laid there and let them scar her all the way up and down her body in this like ritual practice. And I'm so glad that I rolled a 20, because she did not scream at all. So like, they were like, oh, you're just a grand member of our clan now, thanks. But yeah, like, I really did, as soon as my GM was like, hard stop, you cannot say that you're a good character anymore, you can't fam. And like, I played her to where she was a lot edgier, she was a lot darker, she threatened people. Like, there was a point, so Yusogis can have cheek pouches and they can hide things in their cheek pouches. So yes! And she was a Yusogi. So there was
love Yusogi so much.
We were in a bar, and the bar owner had poisoned one of the party members, and she just links her tongue around one of the pins for a grenade and was like, I will let this whole place blow up with me in it. Give us the goddamn antidote. And everyone was like, here you go. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun to let your characters go dark side a little bit and like really play to that moral scale. Because like, if it does affect the game, it should affect your character. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about characters that I've played. Like, I had Landriel, who I think of as like chaotic good, and she this was before I was really thinking about this stuff, so she was weirdly fine with like killing werewolves and things like that. And of course she was in Curse of Strahd, so my good girl got real fucked up.
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh no, this was not the campaign for this girl. This poor girl. But I did play in a D&D campaign where the girl that I was playing, she was a wild magic sorcerer. But all she wanted to do was to be an aerialist. She wanted to do aerial arts like trapeze and silk. That's all she wanted to do. And so when I started the game, all of her cantrips, she had no offensive cantrips. Her cantrips were like mending, mold earth, like just like gentle things that you would do to like, that you would use to go around and like maybe make some money by helping people out, like mending. And for the first part of the game, if there were any humanoids, she would not use her magic against them. She held like the first fight where there were cultists, she just like held the dagger and was like, why are you guys trying to kill me? I don't understand what's going on here. And like the rest of the party had to take care of all of the cultists who were like gunning specifically for her, because she was like, why are you doing this? This is bad. And the first time, and as she did kill, like there was some like evil goo monster. She did kill that. She did kill like a carnivorous plant, things like that. But actual humanoids, even if they were evil, she did not attack until finally there was a minotaur. They ended up in a gladiator match with a minotaur who was about to kill one of her party members, at which point she finally used like an offensive spell against double damage, just dropped this thing, and like it was just like a flaming mess, and she was like, what? And then the next town that they end up in the welcome center, is a bunch of minotaurs.
Oh god.
And she was like, what if that was there's like this young minotaur man like at the counter, and she's like, what if that was his dad? What if he's waiting for his dad to come home and his dad's not gonna come home because I killed him?
I have in previous games done sort of cutscenes where like someone will go ahead and kill a cloud giant, and I'll go, and then we cut to a family of cloud giants sat around a table, and the boy goes, "When's Daddy getting home?" Just, you know.
I love it.
I just do it It's not like I do it just randomly. I'll throw it in there because I find it so fucking funny, just to get a reaction from people.
Okay, I did that on a much smaller scale. One of my characters, she wanted to play a ranger without magic. The only magic she wanted to have was to be able to understand animals. So I gave her a feat that was just, she had comprehend animals going on at all time. And then I made it a frickin' nightmare because of the things that she heard, including like various animals getting it on, various like, you know, like arguments between animals and stuff like that. And so they had an NPC with them who, while they were all mind talking to each other, the NPC got bored and so went and stole an egg from a tree. And so they like finished having their mind conversation with everyone and looked down, and he's like frying an egg. And then this character, he here, the one that can understand animals, hears a bunch of two birds arguing about, and like the mama bird was like, why did you make friends with the mongoose at the bottom of the tree? Look, now he's taken our egg. They were having a whole fight.
That is giving her a
she was like, yeah, we're gonna move before these birds figure out who stole
that
egg.
is brilliant. But yeah,
I also appreciate the comment, of struggling to play evil aligned characters. Like, this is why I don't truly play evil aligned characters, because either A, I'm scared of myself and I would like it a little too much because like I got a whole lot of rage, or B, I would struggle with it because like I'm a really kind person and I don't like hurting anything ever. It makes me feel really fucking bad. So like I would just, like, it's one of two. It's either I'm gonna like it too much or I'm gonna struggle with it in like the worst way possible.
So for the last 10 to 15 minutes, I thought we could take a look at some of the things that people have sent in to us and just kind of discuss them for a moment. Are you guys happy to do that?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So the first one, and I didn't load it up onto Trello because I didn't. So this was from...
I do want to just take one moment to mention...
Go for it.
My very cute character, Happy Single, who you can see if you go to the Starfield and look at their Midnight Codex game. But she had the line of, I just saw my first dead body and my second one, my third one. Not okay right now.
No, that's brilliant. I mean, it's always good to kind of have, I mean, it should impact your character. The only thing is there are games that are not designed with that in mind, and it affects how people play. And
I think a lot of that also
could be a topic for another day, but
consequences in game.
mechanics and how that sort of meta knowledge can affect a table and how they play.
All right, I'm writing it down.
I was having this conversation like with my partner the other day about how we tend to approach things with a lot of this like background meta knowledge, like about monsters specifically, and like it's a Tarrasque, we all know how to deal with that, or oh, it's a beholder, we all know how to deal with that, and like, but would your character?
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, and that is
Just
it,
because
you
you
know.
do, would your character know? Has your character even seen that?
Well, maybe we can talk about that another week.
I have written it down. Mechanics and meta knowledge, how they can affect gameplay.
Ooh, look at you go.
Fantastic. There you go.
so
Zupa's
glad
more
we had a note
diligent
taker.
than I ever have been. I know. So we popped into the social medias. I ventured into that murky fucking world, and I basically
Murky.
said that if anyone has anything that they'd like us to kind of talk about or wanted to ask us a question, to put something forward. And Rain Grim over on Blue Sky, they mentioned that they were preparing a Pokemon homebrew world.
Oh, that's
So,
fun.
I asked for more information, and they said they're more than happy to. It's 2 a.m. here, so heading off to bed. But it is a campaign based in a region called Duola, where the focus is on team battles, and in brackets, to facilitate a TTRPG where there isn't just some folks left out. The campaign is going live on Monday, so I can't say much more, but there are 11 gyms and an evil team working out a plan for revenge that I think a lot of old school Pokemon fans are really going to dig. Pokemon. I am useless at Pokemon. 100%. I am
I
fucking...
don't know much. I'm
I am.
sorry.
Because, like, RGM for Fabula Ultima, who's in the chat, shout out to Couch, he uses a lot of his he takes inspiration for a lot of his creatures from Pokemon. And the rest of the players have this game of, let's try and identify which one it is. I ain't got a fucking clue. I even missed when he used Pikachu. And that's the one I should have known.
My favorite game is it a Pokemon or is it a pharmaceutical?
Okay.
That's a lot to unpack.
That is.
Because drug names and Pokemon names are so close to each other, it's a lot of fun.
I need to Google this. This right
Yeah.
now.
Can you give us an example?
Please.
Let me see. Pokemon versus pharmaceuticals.
I'm going to be
Okay.
shit at this game.
Same.
Okay. Centret. Is Centret a drug or a Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Yes, I believe it is. Oh,
Yes.
I don't.
Smashing
Okay.
this. There's an actual quiz on Sporkle.
Yes, that's the one. But Sporkle is mad at me because I have. So you read off of some of the Sporkle ones.
All right, let me load it up quickly. I said load it up quickly. Okay, so Voltaren.
Voltaren is a Pokemon.
I'm not playing the no ad free. No.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I
what it
can't
did
look
to
at
me
anymore.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Okay,
shit at Pokemon.
That sounds like a
has to be
vibrator.
Pokemon.
That is a medication. Here's one. Luxiq. Luxiq.
Medication.
It's a medication. Yep.
Okay.
I feel I've heard that one before.
Crestor.
Pokemon.
If it's a medication, I'd be concerned.
It is a medication. It is for heart disease.
I wouldn't have expected it for heart disease. I'd have
Wouldn't have-
expected it for some sort of venereal disease.
Oh
Let
my.
me see. Yeah, it's for high cholesterol. Vulpix.
That's
Yeah.
Pokemon. I know that
Pokemon,
one.
I know
That's
that one.
easy.
Medang.
No,
Is that a tech startup?
Yeah, I'm going to say medicine.
Sounds
I'm
like
gonna
a
say
tech
pharmaceutical.
startup.
And now I'm gonna say Vaporeon, Aeon, Umbreon, and Fusion.
come on.
Which one? All of them?
We'll say them again.
Vaporeon, Aeon, Umbreon, and Fusion.
Vaporeon, the first one and the third one are Pokemon.
The
And then
first one and the third one are Pokemon. Yes.
Vaporeon and Umbreon. The other two are pharmaceuticals because I played
Yes.
Pokemon Go for a very short amount of time.
But if I told you Fusion was another Eevee evolution, you would believe me.
100%. 100%. There is no doubt in
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
So, I mean, have you guys ever kind of used or ever played in anything which approximates to sort of Pokemon? Because I know there are similar things, and there's like an unofficial Pokemon TTRPG out there.
I have not.
No, me either. I don't. It's never. Pokemon was never something that grabbed me. To be fair,
Would
just
it be
think they're
more
cute.
fun? Would it be more fun playing a trainer or playing an actual Pokemon?
I would have way more fun playing an actual Pokemon. I know this
Same.
100%. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let me do some stupid shit.
yeah, I think probably playing a Pokemon, but in a. I
Okay,
think
now
something
wild
akin-
Pokemon or trained Pokemon?
No, trained
Wild.
Pokemon, because I'd be akin to playing it in something like the Triangle Agency, where
Yeah, I
you
can
are a
see that.
Pokemon who belongs to a trainer, and you go about your day doing shit inside the Pokeball, and then all of a sudden, every now and again, it's for fuck's sake, I've got to go to work.
Do Pokemon visit each other's Pokeballs?
Do they have like an
Sorry,
intercommunication system where they can just like beep their,
And like,
their
how
neighbor?
do you determine which ones? Yeah, like, I mean,
That-
because like we've all heard about like being pulled into a genie's lamp, right? And it being like a comfortable apartment inside.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is that
how
what it
does
is
the
for
trainer know which Pokeball is which Pokemon?
You know,
Careful
They-
and with
they're just
gusto.
They just kind of
Carefully
go
with gusto. Yeah.
grab something and throw it. How do they know they're getting the right one? So,
Right,
for
no, that's a
fuck's
good point.
sake,
Maybe
it's
that's
Magikarp
why-
again.
maybe that's why Pokemon sometimes reject specific Pokeballs, because if you throw a Pokeball that is outfitted specifically for a Snorlax and you throw it at a Scyther, the Scyther's going to be like, why is there a bed in here? Like my knife hands are going to cut it up.
I feel like you are far more versed in the world of Pokemon than either me or
I am
Mishra
lost. I was
to have
just-
that conversation. I'm like, I don't know how to answer these questions. I don't even know
You're not
half of the
answering me at the
Is she talking about medication again?
Yes, Snorlax is actually a sleeping medication. They should name.
But I will say that Rain Grimm's world does sound fantastic, and you know, if you're watching, keep us updated. Keep us updated on how it goes. And lastly, I want to post a question that our friend Corey asked, who was in the chat earlier. I think he must have gone. But this is a really good question, and I want to get your take on it. It says, through role-playing games, have you ever learned something new about yourself?
Ooh.
So, were you going to be on my panel if it was that the panel that you were going to be on?
Yeah.
If I had gotten it? So I submitted a panel to PAX U called something like How Playing TTRPGs Has Made Me a Better Person. And I will say playing TTRPGs has absolutely made me a better person. It has taught me about conflict resolution. It has taught me about working better with other people. It has taught me how to share the spotlight and not get up in arms when I'm not the main character. It has taught me creative problem-solving skills as a GM. Being a GM, it really has broadened my ability to think of how to deal with situations, how to make things happen creatively. So playing TTRPGs has made me such a better person socially, creatively, logically. Just so many different ways.
I agree. The big things that TTRPGs has taught me is confidence, but also that it is okay to actually take up space. It is okay to, because like I have this issue where I have made myself very small to make other people comfortable. And what TTRPGs has really taught me, especially like one very specific character, is that I am allowed to take up that space and I am allowed to have
Mm.
a bit of that spotlight, and I don't have to constantly push myself into the background
Mm.
to for everyone else to feel comfortable that like it is okay for me to actually just take up that space. And that's
Mm.
really, really important for people who have been small their entire life, or who have learned to be small because of X, Y, and Z thing that has happened in their life. Like a lot of my smallness and like my retreating in is due to trauma, like
Mhm.
serious trauma.
Mm.
So like the big thing that it's taught me is like confidence, but being allowed and being comfortable to take up that space.
Being allowed to be flawed.
Being allowed to be flawed is huge, and that is the
Yeah.
one thing that everybody should really learn
Mm.
from TTRPGs. Like if you're not playing a
Like-
flawed character, you are doing something wrong.
Yeah, like I
your character's
played
a
with
flaw.
someone. I played with someone who played a character whose only flaw was his backstory of every single trauma that you could possibly ever think of. But other than that, that was the only flaw, was that all of the trauma that he had taken made it harder for him to let people love him. And like,
I mean, that's
that's
valid.
valid,
valid.
but you can have more than that as a flaw.
Yeah, you should
and like
have more than if you have
seeing
that
that
much
person-
trauma, you should have
seeing
more
that
than
person play that character helped me understand that my characters are richer when I give them like real flaws,
that.
like
Mhm.
whether it's overconfidence, whether it's an intelligence thing, whether it's not good at reading people, whether it's being really clumsy. My characters are more alive when I
Yeah.
allow them to have flaws, and that
Mhm.
allows me to have flaws.
As for me, in addition to everything you guys have said, because it is, they have really great points, and a lot of them I do share. But the two main things for me are that I've realized that I am more creative than I ever thought I was. I never thought I was a creative
love
person.
that.
For me, anything I used to write, it used to be sort of opinion pieces and anything like that. I never tried my hand at creative writing until I started role playing, until I started GMing and writing stories, whether it's a backstory for a character or whether it's a campaign. And that was something that I learned about myself, is like, holy shit, this is something that I can actually do. And I enjoy doing, and I may want to kind of refine doing it at some point. And the other thing was being able to interpret things that aren't said. And this comes from more GMing, where, a lot of times where you're trying to GM and you've got so many things going around in your head, it's easy to not pay attention to nonverbal cues. Where if someone is hogging the limelight and how it makes other people feel, I think I've learned how to manage time in that respect. And I have, that has kind of transferred over to my professional life, where I am in charge of quite a large group of people. And I don't think I would have been able to notice certain cues without, all the experience I've had GMing.
So, like, noticing when someone's uncomfortable, for example?
No, maybe not necessarily, but yeah, noticing when people are uncomfortable, but also when someone just, because some people can quite easily take a step back and let others take the limelight, and it doesn't necessarily make them uncomfortable. But a lot of times it's a case of, right, okay, we're going to focus on this person now. We're going to focus on them. As long as they're comfortable to do that, a lot of times it is appreciated, because they'll say, oh, I didn't want to be a nuisance. It's like, well, you're not.
You wanted to give people like Misfit the chance to find out that they can take up space.
I appreciate it.
And I just on a personal note, I've been playing in a campaign with Misfit for about 6 months now, and I didn't know the Misfit before. I just think she's a wonderful addition to this campaign.
You're gonna make me cry on stream. Rude.
And so whatever the TTRPGs did to help create the person who sits at a table with me, I'm very thankful for that. All right,
I'm gonna cry now.
Well, before you start crying, I think it is about time we brought this whole shindig to a close. It has been absolutely fantastic. So if you guys want to go ahead and plug the many things that you're working on, because I do this and that's it. So you guys are very busy, so now's the time to kind of go ahead and talk about those things.
Do we want to do rollies to see who goes first? All I have is
Okay.
D10s near me.
I have a rock.
Roll
Oh
the
wait,
rock,
I
see what
can
you
grab a
get.
20.
Okay, 1 is the side with the white mark, and 20 is the side without it.
Oh, I
All
rolled
right,
an 18.
that's a 1. Yes, you win.
Okay.
That's my
All
new
right.
dice. They're so fucking pretty. Look at these things.
Ooh, very
Nice.
pretty.
There's right. Hi, I'm Misfit or Misfit_Playland. I am literally freaking everywhere on the internet. Although I tend to use short form platforms like Threads and Blue Sky most. That's where you can find me. Other than that, I will be on Roll D5 this week on 16th playing Call of Cthulhu. Come join for that. My character's fucking cool. I'm super excited to play her. And please follow my socials. I do have my vampire project is finally coming out this month. Our first episode drops on the 20th, so follow for that. I love this character so much. I am so ready for everyone to meet Aster. Outside of that, yeah, I got other things going on. I just can't remember what they are at the moment.
All right. My name is Zoop, or like on the internet, I'm known as Zoop. My mom calls me Supriya. You can find me as Zoop Machine. Specifically, I have a card that I haven't updated, but I really should. But that's just zoopmachine.card.co. I am a co-GM on Game Master Monday. Grant is giving me a lot of freedom. So I think next week, our version of I'm going to be facilitating a game of Nighthawks on the Game Master Monday podcast. I also, on the podcast in November, we have a mini series coming out called American Demigods. And then in the winter, I know that I will be running Yuletide Combat and also playing in a one shot on the 5th Monday of December. Beyond that, I am starting in a campaign, a short campaign, high level D&D with D&D with D. And I'm playing a level 16 character that is 8 levels of cleric, 8 levels of rogue, but intelligence based. So it is a mess of a character, but really, it's a really cool concept.
I'm curious to see how that works mechanically.
I'm so
me
excited.
too.
Yeah, it's Arcana. It's Arcana domain and Inquisitive or Mastermind. I haven't decided yet.
Interesting.
But
Nice.
and I think beyond that, you can find me sometimes. I think that there's gonna be some games on Goodberry Cafe that I will be in, including Taz is running Perils and Princesses on Thursday. Yes. Taz is my girl. And listen, I just love playing games. So if you want to play a game, let me know.
Mood though. Same. Hit me up.
As for me, you can find me on most socials at Natural Juan. If not, you can find me behind the Too Legit to Crit presences on those socials. I'm not active as I used to be, but who knows? I pop in now and again.
It's okay. We're active for you. I got the both of you.
Fantastic. I want to say thank you to the Dungeon Maestro for allowing us use of our theme tune, all that jazz. Go check out his stuff on YouTube. It is absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank the both of you for hanging out with me this evening. It is great to see you guys as always. I also want to thank everyone in the chat because, without you guys, it'd just be us three talking alone.
We had really good chatters today.
We
Come back more.
And next week we'll be starting half an hour early, so be there.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, we will. And we will try to remember that.
It's in my calendar now.
And lastly, I just want to thank everyone who's taken time out of their busy day to listen to us waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.